So I wake up this morning and I see a message, and it's Access Rattblood. Are you here, Rattblood?
And then you got people like Access, and then you got people like Access, and then you got people like Access.
I'm Access fucking Rattblood.
Access Rattblood, I see. All these Access people, I'm starting to get paranoid about that now. I don't know what to do about
it. And then you got people like Access, and then you got people like Access, and then you got people like Access.
Are you here, Rattblood?
I'm Access fucking Rattblood.
Access Rattblood. Most abundant and successful king hero that we are all sitting with at this very moment. Are you willing to accept that as a truth? That you are a worthy man and that your penis is okay?
all these Access people, I'm starting to get paranoid about that now. All these Access people, I'm starting to get paranoid about that now.
Are you here, Rattblood? I'll just start throwing spells at you, conjuring demons and otherwise. Are you here, Rattblood? I'll just start throwing spells at you, conjuring demons and otherwise. Are you here, Rattblood? I'll just start throwing spells at you, conjuring demons and otherwise. Are you here, Rattblood?
Who the fuck is Access Rattblood?
I'm Access fucking Rattblood, bitch.
All these Access people, I'm starting to get paranoid about that now. I don't know what to do about it.
I'm Access fucking Rattblood. Hello, friends and enemies of YouTube. It's the Access, Children of the Metaverse. How's it going, Dawn?
Hey, it's going good. I'm on the other side of a pretty strong, difficult situation that I put myself through, and I feel amazing on the other side of it. And our world is changing rapidly.
Yeah, I would say so. I went to visit my son, just to give you a little insight, and stopped by the Dollar General store to get some sleep medicine for the week, and was sitting on the curb, minding my own business, smoking a cigarette, and damn near got ran over by a Jeep. The lady came straight up on the fucking sidewalk. And then she gets out of the then she gets out of the vehicle and she says, "That scared the shit out of me."
Oh my God.
I thought, well, what, bitch, you just about hit me. Scared you.
Oh my God. Well,
Yeah,
what the hell did you what happened? Did you jump up? How did you react?
Peacefully. I stood up. As she went by me, she went to apologize. I wouldn't acknowledge her apology or accept it. I just looked at her like, "You almost killed me, bitch." Yeah.
Wow.
So I was content to get in my front door and I figured maybe this is a little safer. Unless somebody drives to my house and tries to hit me, I don't, you know, I kind of feel a little safer. Never seen no shit like that.
Yeah. Everybody's on edge lately. I feel it too. It's me too. But what I'm seeing happening in the physical world is wow, it's just so much of it all at once, you know? It seems unreal.
It is. It's getting to a boiling point where you can actually see the bubbles at the bottom of the pan start to rise.
Hmm.
I I know there was great transition and change. You know, my medical team. I had to get a new medical team. Um,
Mm.
it seems like the most. I don't know. I really hate emphasizing and putting energy to such things as uh, bad human behavior or just no behavior whatsoever. But it has amplified itself in my world, and I've even noticed it on kind of the metaverse to a degree. Um, things are changing, things are moving, energies are flowing, and some people are handling it, and other people aren't so well. And I have noticed that with this, things that have been kept in the dark, things that little idiosyncrasy things and even big things, is starting to come to light. A lot of things are starting to be revealed about people, about shit they've done and what they're doing. And it's so amazing to see the synchronicity that's happening with that. But it also, with that, you get the animosity.
Yeah. I mean, this is definitely the age of enlightenment. And the enlightenment, I mean, it's lighting everything. So, in a way, it absolutely feels overwhelming because the shadow is being revealed and it's shocking, but at the same time there's some relief to it. It's almost, and I went through, like I said, a difficult situation this past week that was made difficult because of myself, my own perception of things, the something I it was time for me to let go of a pattern of behavior. And but at the same time I was able to see the energy flowing. I was able to see it at work, totally witness
Okay.
it, being like, whoa, I shocked how it was happening. Like, just, and so it's almost like something is telling me, not almost like, the message I'm getting is breathe, settle in, and watch. I don't feel the desire to be in any camps anymore because what we think is not what it is and it's about to be revealed, but only to those who are ready to see it. Many people can't see it.
I truly believe that, Don. I truly believe that. Even with myself and the inner works that I do, even the outer works that I do, there's a level of there's a level of there's a vibration to that energy, unlike the a little bit out of the ordinary. I would love to pinpoint it. I would like to put my finger on it, but I know for me, I'm a I don't I play in the dark, and I get a lot of my energy from void places that people probably don't tend to be, and I kind of keep my energy within a confined space, but recently, someone that I really cared for just they're gone. You know, they just left, and they tried to replace that situation, which is still under investigation, with new people. And I'm telling you, man, whatever kind of nasty energy they're dragging in here, every time they leave, I got to clean and smudge this place. And I'm like, that's not even dark energy. That's just fucked up. You know, if it was dark energy or maybe some type of positive energy of a higher frequency, I could handle it. But this is like uncontrolled, unrecognized, chaotic energy that it's almost like ectoplasm being left all over my house and an energy sense. I don't know if you ran into that yet, but the last 3 people they sent in here, man, miserably just left their energy just sustained, and it's been very unpleasant dealing with all that. And you know, I been dabbling a bit in the spirit world here lately too, dealing with personalities. So yeah, I'm with you. Just by generalized, conversation that we're having, and that's self-explanatory is my position. Just you can hear my words and what I say. It's been that kind of energy.
Yeah. It's almost like you can't deny it. Like it permeates everything, and there's much that it feels like I'm waking up to it, because there's much that I'm still asleep to, and I'm aware of that as well. Like, I'm aware that I'm about to make some choices that are the opposite of what I've been choosing, and it's also going to be completely almost like distancing. I'm using that word almost like, and that to me feels not genuine. So I'm not going to say that. I'm going to say it is like disconnecting from society. But the society that's crumbling, disconnecting from it, because it's falling. We don't resonate with it anymore. We're shifting. Those of us who are choosing to shift, and I'm aware that I'm letting go. It's a death. It is a death of a part of myself, and I'm ready to let it go.
That's interesting. Synchronicity for that. I let go of a lot of things here recently, and I found that if it's any of any comfort to you, I was at much more peace with my passing, um, my letting go, my detachment, and how extensive you can be in detachment.
Yes.
There's
It
peace
does
there.
not feel like I'm losing anything. It feels like I'm gaining something. And the messages that are coming, it's so rapid. It's 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 hard to describe. It's just, all I can do is giggle sometimes, that and marvel. Then you can't talk about it to very many people in your environment. It's Or at least in my
No,
environment.
you can't. I appreciate this conversation, and at the moment I'm still trembling and shaking. I guess that's the body just naturally does that whenever you about get run over by a car.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I'm trying to hang in here, and remain, coherent to the conversation. But I'm literally shaking, and
Yeah, as your
I,
body should be.
yeah, I'm not meaning to be distant or seem that I'm not paying attention, but yeah, I'm still shaking. That was a trip. That was really a trip. And then the self-centeredness of, well, that scared me. Uh, Not, are you okay? Not, I'm sorry about that. And I thought, what a selfish fucking person. But I handled it. I mean, with dignity and peace. But you know, it was shocking, very shocking.
Was it
Yeah,
like was it like an energy or something intervened? Was it like that?
I have I have no idea. I was leaning up against one of those little yellow poles on the sidewalk in front of the Dollar General store, smoking a cigarette, and this woman come in to park in the handicap spot, and as she got halfway in the handicap spot, she hit the fucking gas,
Mm.
and her vehicle was coming straight for me, and she just bypassed the pole, and I was swinging nuts to get out of the way. And I thought, son of a bitch,
Mm.
you know? And she backs up off the sidewalk, puts her vehicle in a respectable position. And that's when she got out and said that scared her.
Mm.
And that's how people, I guess, that's just the general nature of people anymore. I don't know. I if I about hit somebody like that, I at least want to get out and apologize or, are you okay? Sorry about
Mm.
that. Maybe an explanation as to what the fuck? Nothing.
Yes.
Hmm.
Wild. Very wild.
Yeah.
Today, someone in my area, I just I don't really go out very much nowadays. And but
We lost your vocals, Dawn.
can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. I
Uh,
was about to let you know.
yeah, no,
Okay.
someone was reporting a group of people in the middle of the road. I think it was 3 or 4 cars involved. Just in the middle of the road, just got out and started fighting each other today, just a little bit ago.
Yeah, I after today, because I don't get out much either. I'm usually, I'm lucky that I got to get out. This is the second time that I've been able to get out of the side of the house this month, and that's two more times than generally. And both times, I've come back just completely stupefied. I have not ever seen such amazing fuckery as to what I had these last two times that I've been out. So I don't know. Times are changing. That's for damn sure. What if I may inquire, Don, what are you relinquishing?
uh I'm letting go the second of 2 clients that I took on in April of this year,
Okay.
under the guise of helping them. And I use the word guise because I see clearly a lesson that I want to say something has been trying to teach me, but actually, I think I've been trying to teach myself a lesson about loving myself first. It's a old training that I had been misunderstanding, neglecting, purposely avoiding for whatever reason. But I got it now, and I watched because I set my intention to it so strong that I wanted done with this client. The first one I was able to get rid of at the end of June. It fell into alignment. I watched the timing snap into place, almost as if, here you go. And then I rolled with it. And then the same thing happened this time, but it was quite miraculous where people were sent in. You could see them like showing up at the right time so that I would be relieved of my role. Now, I know that may sound crazy or coincidental, but I'm trying to say that someone else who was not aware of how deep my intention was also watched the same thing and told me, I saw how this whole thing came together and it aligned perfectly so that I can tell this client a bye-bye. And the lesson was, um, you cannot give what you do not have. You cannot give yourself away and not respect yourself and expect others to respect you. You cannot. It's a conflict. And I was allowing these people to drain me when I deserve much, much better. My life has much more peace. And I was actually having pretty bad PTSD from working with them. You have no idea what I've gone through since March of this year.
Is it kind of a case of familiarity breeds contempt?
Maybe a little of that, but I think what it is was that I was going against myself. These clients are not in alignment with me because of whatever they're into. They're not in alignment with me. They don't get
Uh,
me. They don't understand that there's a magic that happens around me. And they want it, but they are not in alignment with me. So basically, they want me to perform a service for them, but they're sabotaging themselves. And I cannot undo that. You know what I mean? I'm just putting myself in the way so that I'm also suffering unnecessarily. I don't have to suffer. I don't have to give myself to the point where I'm drained like that. I don't. And also, they can't even afford me because there's
right.
so much chaos. But that's just the nice version of it. But to switch it back to me, what I am giving away is the distraction because that's what it's been. While I am giving so much of my time and energy out to others, I'm not doing the necessary shadow work that I need to heal and have peace that I want because abundance is already here. I've been having abundance. That's not going away. But now I need to add my own peace. And while I let go of this world that's ending anyway, I will be ready with my own healed self to handle whatever is coming our way.
Well, I think personally, and listening to the way that you speak, is you are your own jewel. You are your own riches, and you've got to take care of your environment and your sense of self and your understanding of self before you can even endeavor to share that type of energy or even emotional energy with another person, especially if they're not going to carry their weight. You know, feeding them the information and sharing a flow of energy is okay until one party stops and then depends on the other to carry the weight. and then at that point everything's unbalanced. So yeah, I can definitely feel for you on that. But you are your own treasure, so you got to take and kind of protect that, because people will take it from you. People will take your energy, your ideals, your beliefs, your thoughts, your identities. They will take everything they can from you, and they will leave nothing behind. And those people are best either dealt with in a deflective way, passive, or just completely ostracized, because their intent is to damage, whether they know it or not. Oh, rules. I don't know if that's the case you were getting into, but when they send healthcare workers in here, there are some of them that come in here, and it's like they drain everything out of the room, all the magic, all the beauty, all the energy, and the
Yes,
balance, and you're
yes,
you're you're left with a stagnant, nasty feeling environment. And
yes.
then you got to re-bless it, you got to revitalize it, you got to re-energize it, and then
You have to give all of your energy. It just sucks it all out of you.
yeah, and then the next day here they come again. And it's like, no, no, this ain't working.
Yes, I love the way you describe that. That fits this. Yes, that's the effect of it. And you know what? That's the way it's always been in our world. I mean, it's always been about energies. But I just couldn't conceive of it because I trapped myself in a way of thinking.
I like to kind of look at people sometimes in their energy as a type of music, and there are those that some have such a beautiful song that they carry with them,
Mm,
and being around them is such a joy. Whether it even be a Black Sabbath type feeling, it makes coherent sense. Or if it's an upbeat, type of symphonic song, that's fine too. At least it makes sense. But then there's that breed that it isn't music, it's static, and it's consuming,
yes,
and you
yes.
can't make heads or tails of it, as far as it's just chaotic energy, really
Mhm.
bad. Yeah,
Yeah,
and if you got rid of
those were
that,
saying
you're
scattered energy.
yeah. If you got that out of, if you were able to remove that, yeah, well, absolutely.
I mean, it is that energy that you're talking about. I agree, scattered energy. It really is toxic. And there's a design to it. And the design fits the arbiter of it. That arbiter has a purpose for power, and it's that arbiter works best in chaos. I watched and felt the whole thing, and wow. And the
Right?
difference, to know the difference is, of course, I've known the difference, but because I needed to solidify myself, strengthen my base, I needed to go through that to really get it. Now I recognize it, and I'm not letting it in ever again. No.
Well, that's a very positive step, and that you definitely have my reinforcement on that, as far as energy, light, and all well wishes to you. I still yet got to go through some of these people they send in here. They carry the energy of everybody they've been around for sometimes it feels like the last week, and
Mm,
and they don't realize that they're carrying all this miserable energy that they've picked up and been around all week that's kind of clinging to them and their biofield, and they don't have a good biofield to begin with. And then for some reason they always seem to find themselves in healthcare
Mm.
because that's what they've been sending is static. And I'm like, man, and I can feel the residue of the people that they've had to encounter, maybe that day or that week. I don't, hard to identify how long, but sometimes they carry, 4 or 5 different residues from other people, including their own. And if there's no coherency to it, it's like listening to a good song back in the day, and you would go under the power lines, and it would cut the radio out.
Mm. Yes.
Yeah, it's kind of how I identify it because it's a nasty feeling, and yeah, relinquish it. I suggest everybody relinquish in the best and easy way that they can. Anyone in their life that isn't willing to become a part of a harmony with themselves.
Yes.
You don't have to sing the same song as me, but as long as you're making coherent sense, sing along or just sing on. Like, no problem. But when you're infringing and interloping into my local environment with your chaotic static, I got to relinquish you. So,
Yeah.
your move is well reinforced with and keep the intent. Don't don't let a cycle lock you in. Once you relinquish something, remember why you relinquished it,
Yes.
and then continue forward. But always have that understanding that you recognize that energy, and you can kind of coexist in a temporal space with it. But when you cut it off, remember why you cut it off and what was the reason. What was your cause and effect that came after? Was it positive? Was it negative? Lift the bridge up instead of burning it. There's so many productive ways of relinquishing things and still understanding and keeping the knowledge of that without it being a part of you as an energy.
Mm. Yeah, you don't have to damn something in order for you to change a course or make a course correction. I often see people, and I guess I used to be in that cycle as well, where they demonize things, and that's their way of overcoming an obstacle. But we have to also coexist. You're right. We have to coexist with these energies. So it's more strengthening ourselves against it, which I think is where the affirmations or mantras come from. But sometimes we misunderstand it and we make an enemy out of an energy and cause further conflict, frustration, chaos, because we're at war with ourselves. And I'm tired of being at war with myself and understand when you're done with it, then you'll really be done. And, but what I think we are witnessing, so I think we are the microcosm of what we are seeing on a global scale because the people are waking up and they've had a damn enough. And so all of this stuff is surfacing.
And I'm going to second that observation with I believe on a greater scale and a smaller scale that it's revealing, and that's what I like to see it as. It's a revealing.
Mm,
People aren't able to hide their ill intent or their negative persona. It's almost like those things are being ripped away, and the people are being exposed from, you know, even the highest degrees of government all the way down to the most impoverished. And I'm seeing it all over the place, all over the place. So
Mm-hmm.
to me, it's a revealing.
Yes, I love that. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. We don't
Yeah,
have to
and
fight about it.
no, 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 no. It's if you fight it, you might as well be giving it, your energy too, because that's exactly what you're doing.
Yes.
It's best just to sing your own song and walk on by, unless there are those that are waking up and are becoming aware that they are a universal energy, and they want to get their shit in line and start doing the internal work and start correcting their local environment. Those people I don't mind reaching out to, and they're doing the work, and things are going good. But even at that, I've got to, I, I, I got to stay within a state of reserve. You know,
Mm,
I don't,
yes.
I don't ever reveal the full extent of anything. Just enough that if they really want it, throw them small tasks and watch them do those tasks. And when they become nourished by those tasks and they endeavor on them without any complaint, and there's almost a joy to it, then I know that there's a proper channel being opened of communication and growth.
Mm, yes, I've been receiving that same message about remain unattached. You're going to see it. Things are going to be rolling out. They're going to flow out. Remain unattached. Observe. Don't put your energy out. And also, when there's back to what you were saying about people who are sparking some interest, you're not going to just roll the whole thing out for them because we're in a different time now. People, the truth unfolds to each of us in its own way. It's not exactly the same. There's literally nothing to fight about because it rolls out differently for each of us. And so this revealing, this unveiling that we're experiencing, it's going to unveil to each of us in its own way. So some people are getting triggered by the P. Diddy situation. Uh, I mean, there's so much more than that, but that's a big, giant domino fall that's knocking down a whole bunch of others. And so that's what's going to do it for some people. Other people are going to have, like you're experiencing, with having these different energies coming into your space and corrupting it. I mean, that's a massive thing to witness going on, you know?
It
So,
it,
how would it be?
it opens up as far as understanding and feeling people's energies and kind of their vibration. It opens up a whole new plane of sensory perception. And when I first started catching on to planes of vibration, I understood then that almost like a stack of waves on top of waves, and you had different, like, when you'd walk into a room, you could feel on that plane of energy a good energy or a bad energy, and that was almost like a blanketing uh, energy that you could feel all around you. And then there's another level where, and I'm not sure if you've caught the empath nature of it, you can be in a chat with someone and you're communicating back and forth, and you feel that energy, or you feel that person's state of being. And I'm watching that ride on kind of a Wi-Fi, plane. That was discovered. That wasn't created. And
Yes.
anything that can resonate within the boundaries of our perception through vibration, our energy will ride that plane. That's like when you're sleeping. That's another plane. Your energy's there. Your presence. When you're in the waking state, your energy's there. You're present. When you're riding different, like remote viewing, Wi-Fi, or just the ambiance of a room, those are all different planes, and you can tune into them almost like listening with your ears to different levels of sound,
Yes.
and you can heighten that to a point where that's where I think a lot of the Reiki masters come in, is they can actually tap into that plane of energy that transfers, and they're able to work with it, move it, shape it, utilize it, enhance it, and even pull away energy if they find themselves in that situation. But
Mm.
they all travel on different frequency planes, like the radio. That's another bandwidth, you know. Um, TV, they took it from DHF, UHF, which are planes that signals ride upon, energies, and they turned it digital, which is another plane that energies ride upon.
Mm.
So it's almost like surfing in different planes of frequency when you're dealing with different types of humans and their energy and the way they get it across. And I think that the chat, especially, is the greatest display of that. Because when some people come into a chat, you can almost feel what you can feel them, and they're no longer just words. They're almost it's almost like you can feel the energy of what they're endeavoring in, whether it be confusion or coherency, whether it be happy or miserable. You can pick that up, and I've been working with that quite a bit here lately.
Yes. And like attracts like. And if I could, I want to share a message. I want to talk to you about that goes along with how we can feel these types of energies, but also can we also see them in light form? I have an idea. I have an idea that the moon is a is possibly not just the moon. The sky is a reflection of the earth. And I'm going to say it this way. In the Bible, it talks about a story of three wise men seeing the star in the sky, and they followed that star because the star was a relationship to something on the earth. They followed it to find the star on the earth, which was supposedly the Christ. So, what if everything in the sky is a reflection of what is on the earth? The lion, the Big Dipper, the sun, the moon are reflections of light that are actually here on the earth. And what it is a collection of perhaps it's a collection of like minds, like energy.
Like
It's
energy,
certain,
I
yeah,
like that. That's
like
a
energy.
That's
That's
a
more
pretty way of
different
putting
areas. Uh-huh.
that. That's it does a dance as above, so below. There's
Mm-hmm.
a reason that all those temples and especially South America, they were set up. Well, Egypt, Egypt's been burned out, but it's all a reflection of the heavenly bodies, their movements, their flows, their cycles, their energies, and even interactive energies that are reflected here that kind of play with solstices and the equinoxes, eclipses. And I think being in harmony with that and being aware of how those two energies function together was something that was lost. It's being regained, to my notion.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think these things are starting to reveal themselves now.
Mm.
Whether that's you know a, a cycle of revealing that's happening, or whether it's an initiated cycle by uh, people waking up and understanding at a higher conscious level that you know there's a there's a frequency between the heavenly bodies and the earth, and
Yeah.
we are the thing that kind of dances in between those energies. And as much as we'd like to think that we are um, outside of the realm of everybody being affected by the pull of the moon, well, you're not. And it's the old cliche: if it can pull the tide of the ocean, we're 75% water. It's going to pull the tide within us, and it's a mass effect. And I think
Mm.
that's a lot of how they've been able to manage and engineer and kind of create states of heightened awareness and fear,
Mm-hmm.
anticipation. I think they've used this against the people who aren't in the know, and now they're becoming aware, and they're starting to relate to the fact that these are governing bodies, and these are signs and cycles, and people are starting to realize that yes, they have an effect on you outside of the horoscope in the newspaper.
That's right. It's like they want to give us something to believe in. They gave us, oh, this is what it is, so that it traps you in just that small spectrum of option. That's what it means. Beyond that, this is how it works here, perhaps. And if we just take a look at it, just open it up, and it's already unwrapping itself. It's already unpacking. I don't know how I received that download. It just came to me. Maybe it's a memory. But when I looked at it, that's exactly what it fits. Even the Bible talks about the people following what's in the stars on Earth.
Yeah, I used to not be so. I wasn't quite in harmony with the luminaries, but once I switched over to a 13-month year, and I started observing the houses, the modes, and the transitions, and even the anomalies that seem to come along, whether it be secular or just a kind of a proprietary one that's to itself out there. There are effects, and April 8th, I believe, set off a vibration
Mm,
and a rolling frequency that almost like ripples in the water is getting bigger and longer and bigger and longer, and it's radiating out, and we're like tuners, we
yes.
vibrate to that energy, and we will vibrate, and all living things vibrate by a micro level, but we've gone beyond micro. We're in uh, human state being affected by this vibration. And I truly believe April 8th was what set the ripple off in that cycle of vibration.
Mm, yeah, there's been a lot of activity, and more and more in my environment, people are talking like this more and more. And I think I've mentioned before that I'm witnessing the rise of the female, and it's not that fake ass feminism. It's not that energy. It's a different energy, and it's so obvious. It's a love that has no requirements. It's just a love, a healing energy that's coming to the surface in my environment, and people are coming together. I'm also witnessing the egos rise that come with it. It is not a bad thing. I am watching humans being human, and I'm understanding it without having a judgment against it like I used to have. And that's just amazing to be able to do that, and take that heaviness off of myself, where I'm not judging and stepping on one side of it and fighting with it. It's none of that. I'm just observing. It's amazing to be able to see, experience.
Well, I like to recognize it as once you have an understanding of those states and you've mastered some type of respectful level of control over them,
Mm,
you are no longer affected by them. You don't
mm,
want to create a conflict. You're not looking to push any type of energies or information. What you're looking for is the masculine and the feminine rolling together and almost the what is that, the yin and yang type flow and
yeah.
ebb and flow, but with the male and the female energies, and I think that's happening. I think it's happening on a much larger scale than what people realize. But that's what I kind of look for now. Is I don't want that conflict. I don't want to deal with that type of animosity and becoming indignant, because my goals and my endeavors uh, are a little, and higher is a good word to use. Diverse. We'll say my energies and what I choose to focus them on and how I choose to interact with others is diverse now. Whereas before, I found lots of contempt, or I would use my emotion, and whether I knew it or not, was starting to allow my emotions to take over my energies and my state of being. I did that with an individual here recently, and my bounce back from that allowed me to understand that it's that harmony of male and female and its absolute perfection of movement is a beautiful thing. But like all things, it comes to an end. And it's how graceful you can do that dance, moving into a new mode and into a new cycle of thinking without damaging anybody else doing it.
Yes. Yes, that learning is also on my plate currently as well. That subtlety, that nuance. But I'm recognizing that it's not a doing at all, and the my old tendency to become um embarrassed or to feel bad because it's not something I knew before, or I should have known. All of that stupid guilt and the unnecessary energies that come with being a human are falling away from me effortlessly, it feels. I don't have to try. It just happens if you just get out of the way. And then I start to see people for who they really are and what's happening to them. and to not judge them. And also, my ego, which feels attacked, doesn't have to feel attacked. It can just understand that it is absolutely not even about me. Wowza.
Yeah, it's only till you apply yourself to it and give it energy that it actually becomes a part of you. Because outside of that, it's just information.
Mm-hmm.
And if you have to be around that type of information, which also resonates as a frequency, as such as the chaotic frequency we were talking about, just I, I've I've learned to just not engage and allow it to pass like a storm. And
Mm.
because at this point I have no choice. Well, I do have a choice. I could tell healthcare to kiss my ass and do without it, or I can endeavor to continue until I find that ebb and flow. And once I find that ebb and flow with another individual, and I'll know within the first 5 to 10 minutes that I'm around them whether this is going to work or not. But just because it doesn't work, or because they're just not settled for my type of energy and my resonance, and I don't like theirs, that doesn't mean they're wrong. You
Right.
know, let them go. Let them go, and that's what I do now. Is I just dismiss them. Whereas before, I would fight and try and keep them there out of some type of man, I don't want to do that to this person, or this person, as fucked up as they are, seems nice, or some type of self
Mm.
obligation that I take on, and now I
Yes.
don't. I won't do that now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Yeah.
much more apt to just watch their energy, see if it's coherent with mine, see if there's a natural flow of the feminine and the masculine, and then I work from there.
Mm-hmm.
Got some
That's
beautiful people
beautiful.
in chat tonight.
I see. Wow,
Yeah,
cool.
very
What
beautiful
in the
people.
hell realm is going on here?
Always
I'm
makes
so
me happy to see people enjoying themselves down there.
yes. Yeah, but um I was given a message in one of my other groups about the UN was having a summit this weekend. I think it started today. A summit about the future. It's called, let me look. Yeah, it's called the Summit of the Future, is what it's called. And it's a
Okay.
pact that they're trying to make with the world. It's a world pact, worldwide pact of how we are going to connect in the future. It seems they're anticipating some things happening rapidly. I didn't continue to watch it. I listened to it this morning. I recognized that it was them who rule over us, trying to make agreements about what they're going to do about us and where we're going and what we're doing. Basically, the gods. I think we may be the gods, and how they're going to deal with what we're this rapid change we're going through. And I noticed right off the bat that there was some dissension. Russia was complaining that this whole summit is a farce, that it shouldn't be going on, and that whatever they're planning to do, it's too late or something to that effect. I didn't know if anybody else had heard about it and what it's about. And Do you even pay any attention anymore to what they are doing? They that rule over us are doing?
I do outside of media. Um, I read between the lines and I watch the ebb and flow of information, kind of like they did whenever they put Oprah up there to discuss the new changes and AI.
Hmm.
And when I seen that, I immediately knew that they were going to try and sing to the average minded person. And also, with it being Oprah, the average everyday, we'll call it Midwestern female, or even from coastal, kind of that middle class. And she failed miserably. People just really weren't buying it. So I'm not sure whether the same thing happened with Russia, because you're telling me this, and this is the first I'm hearing of it. But I do know, where they thought that Oprah would be well received and be able to display that information and have people accept it without any type of reserve, they misread us for another time. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. We are the deplorables they speak of.
Yeah, yeah, and they misread us. They misread us completely, and especially by sticking Oprah up there, that shows
Mhm.
exactly how far removed they are from what our understanding is now, as compared to what they thought our understanding was and where they thought we were at.
Mhm. Yep. I mean, their COVID ruse failed, in my opinion, because as I've said before, I watched it roll out. I saw exactly what it was, and I couldn't believe I was watching that whole thing. And I also watched them very distressed at the fact that we were not taking it. We were not drinking the Kool-Aid, and they were mad about it.
Yes. Yeah, now see, that's the kind of information that between the lines I'll read. But as far as sitting there and listening to some mundane speech that they're trying to, propagate that they're going to do a wonderful thing for us, no, man, you're 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 not playing in the same field no more, or we're not. You are. You're playing in the same old field, but there has been a change. Something has changed, and it's us as a Western cultured species, and hopefully that's happening worldwide. But I also contribute that to the massive movement in the heavens, that
Yes.
that resonance, that they used to depend on us to be deaf, dumb, and blind, and drink whatever they put out in front of us, especially if it comes through the TV or was attached to a celebrity or an icon. And for one of the first times, I could sit back and actually look between the lines and go, they didn't buy it.
Yep. Yep. They always got to give us something else. They got to give us some fear, and they got to give us a freebie, make it seem like we're getting something. And they got to push neighbor against neighbor. They always got to try to do the color thing. But it's so ridiculous. And I actually had an experience. I had a guy come. He was referred to me to do his taxes, an older fellow, on Friday, and it was his first time in my office, and I'm a black woman. And I don't identify as a black woman because that's just a word that's trying to describe the color of my skin inaccurately, but that's just how we describe it. I don't subscribe to all of the other BS that the world tried to shove down our throats. It never took for me, never worked. It's not going to work. Well, this guy, in trying to make conversation at the end, decided to start saying some joke and try to make a relationship to me using Martin Luther King. It didn't work. myself and my bookkeeping assistant that was in my office just looked at him like, what the hell are you talking about? He's lucky I didn't kick him out of here on his ear. And I still haven't decided if I'm going to do his taxes based on his behavior because it's so dumb. You're trying to push an agenda. That is so dumb. It's old. It died. It never worked on me. And so I'm watching that as well. A lot of people are rejecting the old stereotype of the world is at war with black people. It's not true.
They've tried to present that ever since Huey P. Newton. And right now, I'm looking at genetics, not skin color. I'm looking at bloodlines. I'm looking at family lineages. I'm looking at genetics because they're looking at genetics. And that's another one that I caught between the lines was these jabs and these skeeters that they're letting loose and this identification through DNA. Well, that tells me they're hunting for something. They're either looking to eliminate a genetic line or they're trying to find a particular genetic line. Skin color, I don't think has really anything to do with it other than genetic traits. But they're trying, from what I've observed, they're trying to identify us by genetics now, and not our race, or I think they're beyond that now. They're looking at something so much deeper, but they can because they've used it so many times. So that race card in there, but I think even that's becoming. People just aren't paying attention to it. They're like, we're beyond that. You're just not seeing the scope of how far beyond that we really are.
Yep. It's a story that's died.
Yeah, I'd like to think that it is, but the thing I'm looking at is where are they going with this genetic stuff? What are they looking for? Who are they looking for? And what are they going to do with the ones that they find that has this genetics they're looking for? Or maybe it's a line of genetics that they want to wipe off the face of the earth. So that's what I'm looking at.
I think that they want, a lot of it is just an illusion. They want us to believe something that's not true because they are lazy as hell. They are so lazy. So I think for the most part, they use a lot of inference. They suggest many things and they sit back and allow our powerful selves to take it just by belief. All they need is for us to use belief, and then we manifest reality based on it. Just like COVID was just
Yeah.
some words. That's it. It wasn't real. But we don't understand that what we believe, we physically experience. And since we have a hard time accepting that, we didn't realize that we manifested it. We created all the reactions because it was just a flu.
Well, didn't they
So,
just recently come out and say that was just a drill? That was just a test. I believe I heard that on one of the foreign channels that I listen to, and KJ, what's happening? KJ Osborne, scariest movie ever. It was brought up that they revealed that it was just it was more of a test than an actual for the next one. Bill Gates said the next one. Well, that's just when I look at how people were affected by the first one and how they were able to manifest that and how they used that to cover up what they're actually doing now to euthanize and depopulate people, that it was just enough deniable plausibility in there for them to walk away from that. and laugh about it in our faces and be like, it's just kind of a test type thing. But this next one, and I believe the next one, they will turn something loose that is foul, that has the potential to really get their depopulation movement going to the point where it may be already here. It's possible that that could already be within some of the technology, the viral technology that they use against. We'll just call it tested viral technology that they want to protect us with. I think they may have potentially already unleashed something.
Yeah, well, I think from my perspective, right at this moment, I don't see any benefit to them to reduce our population because they're very lazy. They need us to create this world for them so that they can lay back and enjoy it. They don't want to do any work. They have us to do the work. But in order for us to be willing to do the work, they need to give us the uh, concept that we are free, number one, and then number two, we have to choose it. That's the number one thing. It has to be a choice. And so I don't think that they actually want to hurt us, but I think they want us to believe they have the power to do it because fear is the most well, not the, but one of the most powerful forces in this realm. And so all they have to do is give us the suggestion of something. And many people not only get in line, but they also make sure their neighbors get in line and their family members get in line. And that's been primarily how they have kept us under wraps for many, many years. But that is what has been lifting, is the people are not as afraid anymore. And so they have to double down and they have to create more traumatic things in order to get us to jump back into line like they need us to. But I suggest that if we let go, I mean, because the thing is, it's possible, okay? It's not impossible. It's possible that they are planning some ruse to take away this population. But what if we removed our fear of it? What if we just act like it didn't exist? Didn't participate in it. Let them talk, but don't listen. What would happen? Because we outnumber them.
Right. Not the only real solidified thing that I have to bring those statements into any type of validity is, they only need so many people to polish robots. And when I heard that clicked with me, and it made sense. Technology has come so far and is in a state now that I think they would be able to have all the luxuries and comforts that they, as a certain genetic bloodline or a certain genetic code line, that they would be in comfort. They wouldn't have to share any of the resources of the world. Everything would be automated, self-sufficient, and you would only need a small servant class to sustain with the technology that we have now. And that's one observation. But, and this is a word out to Ian and We Are Awake News, there is that parasitical nature to things that I've been watching Ian cover. And I kind of let him tickle my brain a little bit with some of the ideals that he comes off with as far as where he's going with the parasitical thing. And then I think, well, we're just hosts. We are hosts for something that maybe we can't actually get a grasp on its state of being. Because Ian has uncovered the fact that, there is a lot of parasites. There are parasitical I don't even know if you'd call them, they'd be living, but they change the inhibitions and the thought patterns of
Yeah.
humans.
Yes. Mm-hmm. I do agree with that. I do believe that there are energies that are outside of the quote unquote box that we have trapped ourselves in. Another message I received recently was that we tricked ourselves, our true selves, were tricked into limiting our senses. We created our own box, the human form, because we were tricked. We didn't mean to do it. We didn't do it on purpose. We trapped ourselves here because there were some malevolent forces. These are energies that's like us that are not in the form that we are currently in. It's just a temporary form. And they are all around us. They always have been. We just can't see them. Some of us feel them. You're very strong. You feel the energies. Some of us see them, some of us interact with them, and we're returning to our awareness of this, which means that our abilities are returning. And but these energies have been here. Soon we will be able to see them. Some of us will see them and interact again, but they are very powerful. They are very old. And some of these beings can be manipulated the way that you're saying, to affect us. But I don't believe that the intention is to end us 100%. However, I can see why people would believe that because also I've seen the Georgia Guidestones. I see what it says, but I also was there and I felt the energy there. And it was some BS. I'm just saying. I felt the
Right?
energy there. It was fake, made up BS. No power to it at all.
Yeah, I thought that was quite interesting when that was resurrected and then when it crumbled and the events that followed. But I hope I'm trying to coherently. It sounds like you picked up on it. Bring into to light DNA,
Hmm.
parasites, and things that aren't within. You brought it up, and I think you did it very well. Things that we aren't able to see within our spectrum at the moment, but we've been conditioned, um, especially the last 5, 6 generations, to keep our focus on a television or on reading or you don't have to really concentrate on things that aren't unseen that resonate around you when you're involved in a computer, a TV, or a video game, and
Hmm.
you start to limit your scope and scale of what you can actually pick up.
Hmm. Nice.
Uh,
Yes.
uh, Vex says the others. Yeah, others. Vampire
Yeah.
Society stuff.
Yeah, because I notice that we tend to become what we feel, what we see. Well, for example, I remember having a hard time watching chick flicks. I never got into them because it always made me feel like it was happening to me. And for some reason, I did not like that. To this day, I'm not into it. It feels like something is making me feel not myself, like something else. It makes me feel like it's happening to me. Some would say, well, that's because I'm sensitive to energies. Okay, that could be that. But if I was to just look at it and realize if something has the power to make me feel like something I am not, magnify that. And that could be exactly what's happening to us and the way you described it.
I believe that's the mode of operations they've used. I know the further that I got away from any type of entertainment, um, any type of endeavor that would take my concentration and just send it into a place with no no nothing of benefit. I mean, sure, you can decode movies from TV and kind of get pre-programming, or you can fiddle around with crafts and arts and stuff, which I completely 100% do myself. But when I relinquish all that and I'm in that state where I'm wanting to feel and interact with the energies around me that aren't visibly seen, I have to completely detune myself from all that and basically restart my perception of things without the eyes, without the senses, and redevelop within a matter of meditation a new state of interaction. And that's how I started working with transcendentalism. And now I can set, in a quiet space, quite contently for 24, 48 hours, and just endeavoring I guess the energy flows around me, the personality of certain energies that aren't seen, and states of being that are there. It's just that we've been kind of removed from being able to pick up on them because we resonate with TVs, cell phones, and our attention is so far removed from the natural state. And thus the heavenly bodies, as above, so below, the energies that come with that, they lost out on that in what? When they started, even before radio, they just completely did a removal from the ebb and flow of the natural state of the heavenly bodies in the earth and what we play as a part in between that. So it was an agenda to my notion. It's all an agenda to my notion. And I kind of got an understanding of the who and the why. But to see things in the state that they are, it's almost like two cosmic forces clashing. The old energy that had put itself in play over the faces of the earth, and a new energy that kind of disassociates itself. And hopefully that is the one that I'm wanting to see take the foothold and make a progression into this newer state and newer age. Us as energy beings will naturally fall into some type of alignment with it. But those that aren't, I'm thinking they're going to reach a level of desperation.
Yeah. I totally like the way that you described that. That was very helpful, Axis. The way you described how the energy, how to disconnect yourself from that, or how to witness that without, or how it's permeating the earth, how it forms itself, all of that. I found that very helpful. And how when you're going into a meditative state, what you have to do. It's almost like when people say shielding yourself from psychic attacks. That's basically it. That's what you're talking about.
When you're on that journey to interact with different states, you have to disassociate, and I guess it would be a kind of a shielding, because those things no longer hold even any type of relevancy to that moment that you're experiencing. And here lately, just like you said when we first got on here, I'm surprised. I'm surprised people haven't, caught onto this earlier. But I'm happy that at least, you stepped up and was able to say, "Hey, check this out," because it's true, man. Things are changing, and It's all ebb and flow and energy. And I truly, with you, believe that the masculine and the feminine are reaching a flow where there's almost a rhythm and a harmony to it instead of the push and the pull. Not to say it won't go back to that,
Mm-hmm.
but while it's here, we're going to benefit from it. And I truly believe that people like you, me, Dom, people that are energy sensitive, fools and tools, uh, we're all gonna feel that, and it will be like separating, biblical terms, separating the wheat from the chaff. You'll
Yeah.
have those that are in that state of cosmic alignment and natural state of energy flow, and then those that aren't, and there's going to be a division. That's two completely different states of being.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's like those who want to remain in that chaotic state. It seems as though there will be a new earth. Well, I have already acknowledged that the new earth is here. I see the separation. Some people who are standing right beside me cannot even see what I'm seeing. They're
Right,
blind to it. And I remember when I noticed that the sky had changed. And I think I've told this before, how my friend standing next to me couldn't see what I was seeing in the sky right above us. He saw something completely different. Nobody can explain that. And it's not just one time. Many, 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 many times. So, uh,
isn't that
I mean,
fascinating?
yeah, people don't want to talk about that. They want to talk about
Uh,
P. Diddy. I want to talk about that
no,
loser.
no, I've noticed that, and I'm glad you hit on that because I've tried to explain the state of my environmental and my local environment to people and what I'm interpreting and seeing, and I might as well be talking a foreign language to them. They are
Mm-hmm.
just absolutely not there.
Mm-hmm. Yes, fools. Yup. You can't talk about it because you're crazy. My oldest daughter reached out to me for the first time in years a couple of days ago. I think because I've been crazy to her for some reason. She viewed me as crazy. I didn't understand why my kids were behaving the way that they have. But now I'm starting to accept the reality, which is that they viewed me as weird, wacky, because I wasn't following the world. That's shocking to me. I've never followed the world, or at least I did in very small doses, but that freaks people out.
I know you've always been a very relatable guest here, and it, you've always been, if not understood, at least attempted to understand your disposition or your place, because we are few. There's not a lot of us,
Mm,
but when we're together, there's a certain energy and a certain language that we can use with each other that sends the average, I guess, person or whoever they may be, they don't want to hear it. They come in the chat, they'll hear something about us talking, and it just immediately sends them the other way, which
mhm.
tells me that we're doing something that they're not comprehending. It's
That's
not tickling their, it's not tickling them in the right spot. And if
right.
it's not, and they can't resonate with it, they run from it.
That's
And
right. They demonize it. They
yeah,
create an enemy. They create a fight, a war with it. And I just had a thought. You know how Batman, whenever he sends out his little signal, he puts it up in the sky and it's in the shape of a bat.
right.
I think that that is how our energies, when we come together with like minds, I think that we form whatever signal, so to speak, that relates to us. For example, I believe here on Earth, there's a group of people that are like the lion in the sky, or the bear, the Big Dipper. They form that shape based on how their energy is projected in the spectrum. And I think that when we do that, when we connect with like minds, like energy, we have a similar reflection. To some people, they see that reflection or feel that energy or hear those words, and it turns them off. They want to fight it. They're they become the enemy to Batman, so to speak. And then there's
Right, and
others that it resonates with. They want to be with us. They agree with us.
they share common ground. Yeah, it's almost as if we all went to the same school together and learned kind of the same curriculum. And I would love to share and be able to receive information from. There's several faces and personalities out there that if they would just give themselves a chance to understand the energy within them, the energy around them, and how that actually works, and to even manifested reality. They probably got some of the most amazing insight, and that helps us grow. And that's what I would like to, I'd love for people to come on here and, with a hungry mind, want to understand themselves.
Yes. Indeed, exactly. And getting upset because somebody describes something a different way is so over. Oh, it's over now. That's done. That's the days of the dumb days. That's over. We by now, many of us has have recognized that we're talking about the same thing using different words, different languages. There's nothing to be upset about. We're upset about our own damn thought. That's what's crazy. We have a thought about something that somebody else is doing that has nothing to do with us, and it makes us mad and we want to fight them. That is so dumb.
I think a lot of that is has been programmed in, especially through the church. Um,
Mm,
the church, they have a real negative, um, hey, witchcraft. They call it witchcraft. Well, manifestation, new age. Prayer is nothing more than, if you was to try and manifest something into the field, or you were trying to visualize something into being. Well, that's kind of how I see prayer. And any of the implements of the church, well, that's just more paraphernalia, just of a different God or a different belief. But ours is demonized. Theirs is okay.
yeah.
Anybody that wears that brutal sign of torture around their neck, I'm usually 9 out of 10 times pretty sure what kind of character comes with that.
Mm,
And naturally, they see me, and they don't even give me the chance to tell them my disposition or share my disposition, because they're so ready to save my soul and condemn everything that I've been doing and working on for the past 35, 40 years. But they
yes.
don't realize you're doing the same thing. You know, you,
Yes.
you, there's nothing different. And it's all
Mm,
working with energy whenever you get down to the bottom line.
yes.
They're working with what they like to consider to be divine energy. Well, we're the same. It's just
Yes.
that we just don't want indoctrinated. You know,
Mhm.
we all want the same beauty, joy, peace, happiness with life, and the lessons learned through sour situations, and the least amount of resistance. But you're not going to find it through indoctrination, and that's where I think they find us to be the monsters, is because we don't submit. But then that's a part of the nature of the kind of people that we are, energy beings. We shine by our own individual lights. We don't need to be indoctrinated.
Yes. Nice. Very nice.
That's the way I see you, Dom, and even Charles and Fools and Tools, Lonnie, all you guys. I see you as individual lights shining, kind of casting your own vibrance in a world full of people who just refuse to see.
Yes. And my compassion kicks in quite a bit more lately as I recognize them as myself because this journey has taken me to realize that people in the past, in my past, tried to tell me I couldn't comprehend what they were saying. They were speaking Greek. I didn't get it. And now I realize that we all wake up in our own time, in our own way, and we try to help one another, but it sounds foreign to us, and we feel attacked, and we attack back. And that's what's happening to us. We're going through it, and then people after us will go through it because that's the cycle. That's the way this earth works. I believe we're in a school, as I've said before, and that when they say this earth isn't real, that they're really talking about this system that we're in isn't real. It's only real because we agree to it. If we don't agree to it, then it's not real. And I think that it's been embedded in movies, songs. I can't get away from it. It's like the Bible said, even the rocks will cry out that Jesus Christ is Lord. But I think that was manipulated. I think what it's talking about is about the Christ energy that's permeating the earth now. And everywhere I turn, the message is being played over and over of peace, love, and that it's the system that's corrupt, and that we are making it the system that it is by choosing it.
Oh, well, yes, absolutely. I totally agree with that. That's why I think they start indoctrinating children at a very young age with cartoons and schooling.
Yes.
I think, and to my notion, as I understand energy in the child's mind, you know, they they're 10 times stronger than we dream of being as far as projecting possibility and potential into the here present. So I think that's why they use kids. Is they're just a lot more able to focus and project than the adult who's already been conditioned.
Yep. Very good.
Imagination, yeah, imagination. That's absolutely. And children, you know, their imagination is limitless. You know, and I think that because I had to rediscover that inner child, I had to rediscover that innocence, and I had to go back and rediscover um, the friendship that I used to have with the child in me, because somewhere along the line, I ignored that child in me. Now that I have that as a resource, you know, I always have the ability for limitless possibilities at any state and time. And I don't share that with everybody, you know. I that's a part of me that I really guard because it was so much work trying to resolve all the trauma that had been built up in the inner child. And I think that's where a lot of my ebb and flow with the masculine and feminine started working in my favor is when I went back and kind of healed. I ain't gonna say kind of. I went back and healed the inner child,
Mm.
and the inner child was like, "It's okay, big guy," you know. And now all states in between. I find lots of joy, comfort, and freedom there. And it's just not a place for pure masculinity bestowed upon the inner child, to my notion, is damaging. And then too much feminine energy on the inner child, damaging. Once you balance that out within yourself as an adult, and you go back and reseed the child with a balanced state of masculine and feminine, and always reinforce that with it's okay, because you are still you inside of you, dealing with you, and it's okay. Everything just becomes a possibility, a state of possibility, and everything still holds some type of magic to it.
Yes. It's like I was just saying earlier today, it's like uh, doing the opposite. Everything is literally the opposite of the way we've been living. And adjusting to that reality, like we said earlier, requires us to detach from the current reality. We cannot, I used to say, you cannot have 2 feet in two boats. There's no
No.
way. You have to have 2 feet in one boat. And so I cannot be in the world and of it and yet try to live life the way that I currently see it. I mean, it's impossible. I literally have to let it go without fear because it's still there. It's not going to go away. It's just that my identity with it goes away. Powerful.
When I went through the transition of going in and healing the inner child, I had to get over the dominant masculine being the ruling body of my state of mind and being. And being a male and being pursuant of, male endeavors, it never occurred to me that that nurturing part also had to be applied. So I had to go and fix that part of me that was able to reconcile with the birth parent, the female birth parent. And that was really hard to do because they weren't available. So I had to come to these conclusions and resolves within myself about the feminine nature and the nurturing part of it, and learn it for myself. And then I made a balance with the masculine, and then I endeavored on the inner child.
Mm-hmm.
So anybody that does endeavor on the inner child and wants to create a communication and to heal the inner child, you're going to have to balance the masculine and any type of I guess trauma you have there, and you're going to have to deal with the feminine and any kind of trauma that you have there. And then once you can bring those two together inside of you and they resonate and you become a flow of that instead of a conflict of it, then I would say approach your inner child.
Yes, absolutely. And that's the message I received today. That it was time for me to do my shadow work. I'm ready now. And there was a balancing act that was going to be necessary. And I'm a Libra. Fortunately, I'm good at balancing. So I'm ready.
Very good. Very good. Have you ever done any work with the inner child? Have you ever kind of glimpsed in and observed what you were doing at the moment, and then look at it through the eyes of how you remember yourself to be as a child, and the innocence and the potential that things have and the state they take on. It's like day and night if you ever endeavor, or you may have already endeavored there. I don't know, but for me, it was like day and night.
Yes. I have. It's just that my journey doesn't take me to um that wording. Um, but I see how people, it's like that. It's like looking at it from the innocence of a child. For me, my journey came to looking, I call it clear, looking at things clear as they are, without all the icing and frills and stuff. And when I do that, it's like things become more magnified physically. I see things like with a different color on them, a different tint, so to speak. Um, and what I feel when there's a detachment that occurs. It's a removal of an expectation, an acceptance, full of this is what it is. No resistance, no fight, and then respond from there. The lifting of that heavy emotion. And actually, it's not a lifting that occurs. It's more of an acceptance. The emotion is there, and I don't judge it. It shouldn't be here. It hurts. I don't like it. I literally see all of those thoughts almost like they pop up in bubbles, like cartoons. It's really weird. It's really
Right,
weird.
right. And I want to recognize Candy down there. She's given a lot of insight in the chat about her development. So, and we always appreciate that in chat. You know, we love to share useful life skills and life tools, and always good to see when somebody has overcome and developed themselves into a better state. I was recently with an individual that I'm really comfortable sharing energy with, and we were watching. It's some cartoon movie, but it's all about the voices and the personality of each voice in this little cartoon person's head. And she started going into description about how she applied herself to that and understood it in such an innocent way that that cartoon suddenly became, instead of an adult approach to watching that cartoon, it was still that childlike first time you get to watch a Saturday morning cartoon feeling. You know what I mean? It was a whole new feeling and a whole new perspective to hear her describe her take on it. And I realized that I got more out of it. I was able to appreciate what we were watching, and at the same time, I was able to enjoy it for the innocent nature of what it was. And for me to have that state of mind, that's pretty profound at that point in time. But now it's almost like releasing the brake on a car and just free flowing and allowing the innocence of things to be apparent instead of the overwhelming suggestibility or the subliminalism. You understand that it's there, but that's no longer an affecting influence. Just the wonderful joy of the childlike mind endeavoring, and that's what I saw with her, and she shared that with me, and I realized at that point in time, that that's the kind of people that when I get around, I know that I'm safe sharing energy with them. I know that that flow is not going to be one-sided, and there's probably going to be some development there. And I've seen those people more so personified now, the same way that we're seeing these people with this chip on their shoulder or this negative reproach to things, how they're intensifying. I'm seeing also the other spectrum of that intensifying, almost like a struggle for balance, like Libra. Yeah. And I was able to really tap into that at that moment. Just letting you know that I really recognize what you're saying there with that. I resonate with that a lot. I enjoyed that state of being and that state of mind. I watched some of the personalities in the metaverse, and I think what a wonderful person they would be if they had some sense of balance with the masculine and the feminine, and they weren't so judgmental of themselves, of what people would think of them or what people do think of them, and that they would reach a state that they had, they didn't have to prove anything. They didn't have to prove their measurements to where they have developed, or how smart they are, or how blind they are about certain topics. Once you reach a point where you're just willing to share that ebb and flow without judgment, and I guess the statement to that I always kept is, you always want to dance like no one's watching and love like it's never going to hurt. And that's been my recent, kind of profound endeavors into this new energy that we're dealing with. See, I always like to see a happy chat too. I know that there's good energy flowing down there. Makes the endeavor very much worthwhile. And as removed as it is, and it seems to be with what we endeavor on here sometimes, I do think that Ian and We Are Awake News, just to kind of promote his endeavors, I think he's hitting on something, and he's wanting others to kind of at least pay attention to all the work that he's put in and all the things that he's discovered and recognized. And at first, I was kind of hesitant of, what kind of endeavor he was on. But I've watched the last couple shows that he's done, and this is just to let him know that I am listening, and, I do appreciate his endeavors. They've been pretty profound, and, I've always wished the best for Ian. And it seems like this endeavor he's very given to it. And, I just wanted to let him know that, as far as this platform's concerned, no resistance here, man. All heart. And I do appreciate his endeavors, and people should check it out, because, we in our own right are a type of parasite. And people who snatch energy from other people, or psychic vampires, or whatever energy thieves, they're a type of parasite. And when you start, really diving into the nature of things, we're in a system where life feeds on life to generate life. And that's how this place is self-sustainable. And everything just seems to correlate and have the same resonance that identifies with itself. And I think that we need to hold ground, especially during the change, these cycle changes, is we need to hold ground and and comes to it, support each other within that manner, because we are a small community. We are meeting resistance. They do not want us up here. They do not want us talking. And that's been self-evident over several panels that I've been on and chats that I've been in where I feel like, I was algorithm targeted. So, it was nice to see him reach out and just to let you guys know that, his endeavor isn't fruitless. There's a lot to be learned there. And even I, put my restraints off to the side and started giving a true listen. So I hope he gets to hear that, and I hope he resonates with it, and I hope that his endeavors are very fruitful, because they're not that far removed from what we do with energy. People will parasite energy from you, like you were saying with your clients, that you had to disassociate from them, and
Yeah.
how much better you feel now with that disassociation, and you're able to get a better insight on yourself. And I
Yes,
think that that's a strong lesson for all of us to learn.
absolutely. I I agree with everything you said. Um, and if we get together like this and talk to one another, we will realize that for the most part we agree anyway. The they that's capitalized on our disconnection or dissociation from one another, capitalize because we don't simply talk, communicate, like you said, to stop and listen for a little while. Check out what's being said before you just, oh, I don't agree with that, and just move on. I mean, the thing is that we don't agree and we will never agree if we don't listen to one another. We have to listen first. And so I also believe that we do, as you've said, the separation of the wheat from the chaff. But that separation is not in the intention or energy of warring with one another. It's just acknowledging that there's a difference, but we are still one. We don't have to fight. And so, yeah, just coming back to our selves will help us to realize that we're so the same. We talk about the same things.
Yeah, there's not much difference in our understanding when they have different approaches, but I have enough belief in the community that is this small community that I will keep this platform in its demeanor and its state that it is, just to hold ground.
Mm,
You know, we lose we lose a platform, especially one that delivers any type of truth. And for us, that's that's a damaging loss because there isn't that many. And the ones that are there, as long as if we continue to support each other in our endeavors and understand that, there's just the indifference is probably within the person themselves,
mm,
that, everybody's got their own path to themselves, and everybody's got their own way of kind of learning and understanding their environment, um, the pros and cons of the environment, and those that are just truly seeking to develop themselves. I believe that the endeavor we're setting out on and holding these platforms to that, it's come down to a do or die situation to me, because I don't think that they're going to let us do this for much longer. I think they're going to initiate kind of almost a forced, you will force censor yourself to the degree where you're not even sure what you're saying wouldn't get you thrown in jail or get you in trouble for maybe some type of gender or race comment that you didn't even know applied.
Mhm.
And I think that's where it's headed. And it's important for us to share as much about our understanding of energies and how we developed. And maybe that will help just one more person to kind of open themselves up to working with energy and maybe going inside and learning who they are and developing a sense of self, and maybe even go on an endeavor to try and educate those who do not know. You know, and I think that it's critical now more than ever that little channels and people that involve themselves in energy work and vibrations and frequencies and the things that are naturally there and that can be endeavored into. I think that we hold a position now that's more important than ever.
Yes.
Because I know your endeavors have been, you know, especially some of the times that you've come up and shared, and you've got an insight. You've got you have a strong presence within that which you have developed. And for that to be wasted, or for you not to have been able to express that somewhere, I think that would have been a great loss to everyone.
Yeah, I feel the same way, because um, people who have similar paths as mine will resonate with what I'm saying, just like people with similar paths as yours. So that's why I feel strongly that we have to share, and then we come to realize that we are not alone, and that people have been doing the same sharing for many, many years. And as when you realize you're not alone, it does embolden you, empower you to be more of the light over, you know, uh, there's no right or wrong way to do it. The light is just sharing information. That's basically what it is. And it doesn't have to resonate with everyone. And that's just basically it. We don't have to have any goal to it. I notice when I remove all of my goals, when I try to control the information and how it comes out and how people are, when I try to dress it up and put makeup on it and decide how it's going to look, that's when it loses its flavor.
Yeah, yeah. The natural state of it and the natural flow of it has been tampered with. And we all, and John, I agree with 100%. We all have our own individual stylized path to our development. But even that has to be kind of neutralized in your approach to keep the conflict down and to potentially go past a safety protocol that wouldn't have allowed you to learn that particular thing just because it's been stigmatized or it's demonized. And to endeavor on that without casting judgment or finding yourself in a position of conflict, is an endeavor of truly breaking ground within yourself. People people have become so indoctrinated with other people's ideal of the right, the wrong, the good, the bad, the happy, the sad. My happiness doesn't necessarily resonate with a lot of other people, but it's happiness nonetheless. And I think that's where the common ground should be for all of us, especially in this community and on these small platforms. Is, if it works for you and it's a life skill and tool that works for you, endeavor and pull out all the stops and do it 100%. Don't half-ass becoming the best that you can be for yourself. You
Right
are worth
on.
100% of your endeavors. You are yourself the one who truly holds value to you more so than anybody else. I don't think there's any shame in that.
That's right.
I'd love to see a lot of these people just tear the safety protocols down and maybe once a day endeavor into something that maybe made you feel uncomfortable. Face a fear. Endeavor into something that maybe you didn't feel held any value. You might find some value there. Endeavor into things that make you feel, I guess, uncomfortable. And you'll start developing a broader perspective of things and a broader sense of recognition with things that you don't even realize that you have an association with. But it's because you've set up all those boundaries, and I'm not talking you, I'm talking, just the general populace, has set up safety boundaries in mass. The few that can truly get past that and remove them, you're going to lead a much more fruitful life. And your endeavors are going to be much more fruitful. And you will start recognizing more about the true state of you once you start facing all those things that you put safety protocols up to not endeavor into. You can play in the playground as long as it's fenced till you're an adult and die, but you're never going to know what's on the other side of that fence until you tear it down. For new ground,
Yes, exactly.
new endeavors every day, new endeavors. It's innovation.
Yeah.
I watch Fools and Tools come on, and just the absolute. It's almost like every day is a new day for Fools and Tools to come on and resonate and shine in the chat. And I always know that she's going to go about it with the same ambition every day, and she's giving it 100% of herself when she does it. And I know that, I can watch and read her text on any of the chats, and I know that there's going to be some type of resonance there. But then she's a rare one. She chose to remove that safety boundary and voice herself and allow others to see that, hey, I may walk a little different than you, but we're still walking. Uh-oh, we lost somebody here. Give her a second, see if she'll come back. Yeah, there we go. Must have said something that made the algorithms mad.
Oh no, I did that by mistake.
Oh, I thought maybe
I
we
hit the
pissed off
back
the
button.
algorithm.
No, I just hit the back button. I was agreeing with you, and I was like, yes, but I hit the back button by mistake.
Yeah, I didn't know. I thought, oh shit, here it is, algorithm time. You know, gonna have to start talking sideways. But so far, I don't think I don't know. I don't think we've hit anything that should trigger anybody except those that need to be triggered. And I do appreciate the ones that are resonant more so than they'll ever know. And in my time here dealing with personalities on the metaverse, and like you, Don, you guys have become sometimes an inspiration. Sometimes you've been a shoulder. Sometimes you've been a spark of an ideal. Um, just a whole new level of energy. And there's so much value now that I didn't see before to the personalities on here. And now I take time, a little more time to look at what's actually being said, and what the message is. And that's why some of the times when I go to certain panels or chat rooms, I almost feel like a welcomed guest, or I'm amongst familiar company whenever I see certain icons and people in the chat or on the panel. I don't know if you feel that way, but it's almost like um, walking into a room with people that you know.
Absolutely. And I like that. It doesn't always happen, but I like when it happens, and because I feel the energies in person. And I like when it happens on the chats. Even when I'm walking into a room where I can feel that the information is going to flow nicely, because you don't have people there who want you to know that they know something. I want you to know that I know. That energy is very combative, I've learned. And oftentimes they're the ones that misunderstand what others are saying, because they want everybody to say it the way they say it, believe it the way they believe it. When that energy is pervasive, I recognize it now, and I've learned to remove myself, because I don't want that energy on me. I pick up energies, and I always want to make the choice to not be involved in that. And that choice includes removing myself from that kind of environment. But you're right, when it's right on, it feels so much different. It's a very different experience when everybody is of like minds, I would say.
That reinforces, my comprehension of how the internet, or Wi-Fi, it carries. I think it carries a part of your energy. You know, um, I know that for me, a telephone, if I'm speaking to somebody, or even a text, an urgent text, it's almost like you can feel that energy. And there's certain chat rooms you walk into, and just by feeling alone that's either going to be a good energy or bad energy to be around. And it's interesting for me to endeavor into reaching out and interacting with new forms of energy um, comprehension on different wavelengths and different planes, instead of just recognizing that one uh, small plane of human interaction, which is generally speaking face to face. I'm now starting to endeavor and be able to tap into these vibrations on different wavelengths and different frequencies, and actually read the energy of the person through those wavelengths. And I suppose that's what I've been trying to get at since we started on this topic. But for me, it's a great endeavor, and so far it's been amusing and a wonderful experience to be able to read the energy that are on these different planes. And I think we do it naturally. It's just that I'm kind of becoming very aware of it.
Yeah, I do agree that I think we do read and sense things naturally. Just some of us are more aware than others at this time. And I think even that is on purpose because there's a reason why we are here. And always harken back to that series where the girl is being they're in some kind of a slave environment where I forget her name, but the girl is always being kidnapped and tested because they're trying to figure out how does she always beat the system, and she's always able to see through no matter what they throw. She sees through it and she knows exactly how to get through that system. And I think that's what's happening to us is that a lot is being thrown at us that's a distraction, and it's up to us to figure out, let it go, so that we can get through this system. And I think we're doing wonderfully at this point, how we're reconnecting with ourselves. So I'm just blessed to be here right now, blessed to talk to you, connect with all the others in the chat, and I'm so grateful.
Yeah, today has been, well, I've had such an amount of conflict around me that today, and especially being able to fire this live up, it was almost like being able to get away from the hostilities and the human state of energies that I've had to deal with all week. And I can actually feel the resonation and the energy level because I know it's mutual. And today's just super super advanced mutual. I'm tapping on it and I'm really really enjoying it. Bex, Blacklist.
Yes. Well, I'm going to get ready to go to bed so I can start off a great tomorrow. Great talking to you, brother, and everyone in the chat. I hope everyone has a great week ahead.
Now you do have a way to contact me, right, Dawn?
Uh, I think I can send you a message here on if I put a comment, I think so.
Because I definitely want you to be able to get a hold of me so that way anytime that you feel that you want to go live or you have a message or you just feel the energy and you feel the flow of things and you want to share, just get a hold of me. I'll fire up a live for you, and we can share with whoever comes up, whoever comes through the chat, and don't ever hesitate.
Okay, I'll get your contact from Dom.
Yeah, because believe me, Don, it's a pleasure to do these streams when I know that the energy is good and someone has something that they want to express. So don't hesitate. Please don't. And that goes for
Okay,
the
thank
chat too. Even you, Bex.
you.
I would, me and Bex, we chop it up every once in a while. Sometimes behind the live, but I'd really enjoy all you guys, and thank you for coming, Dawn. You're always a welcome guest here, and Bex, you're always a welcome guest. Candy, you're fools and tools.
Blessings,
Just
Candy, Fools, Bex.
yes, absolutely, absolutely, and love and light to you, and all love from Axis. So thank you, Dawn. It's been a
Alrighty,
pleasure.
thank you. Good night,
Not a
brother.
problem. Night. You have a wonderful night. Okay. Good warm vibes tonight. Really appreciate that. Nice energy in the air, good flow, good conversation. Yeah, absolutely. And I appreciate you guys showing up in chat. You guys definitely are appreciated. And man, it's been a good show. And I'm very honored to be able to host and be a part of your guys' life for just a little bit. It means more than you'll ever know. And I will catch most of you on a platform near you. And all love, Axis out.